strong in green policy.
But the government has moved the decision to where, like Heathrow has been recommended, now the government needs to make a decision, and they've moved that decision until after the EU referendum, because they don't want to muddy their election waters. This is a critical moment for people power. We stopped the new runway at Heathrow, and we can stop a new runway anywhere in the UK. All it takes is people power to stand together, united, and to say no more. No ifs, no buts, no new runways.
No ifs, no buts, no new runways. No ifs, no buts, no new runways.
And I think we've been walking backwards and focusing on the negatives, but I want to focus on the positives. And that is a fact around the world, renewable energy is powering ahead. In China, the US, Germany, Denmark, we're being left behind, but they are powering ahead, and that shows what we can do in Britain, what we must do in Britain. Renewable energy, when do we want renewable energy? Now! Okay, and we were just hearing from Fuel Poverty Action. We know what the best possible energy that you can have. The cheapest, greenest, cleanest energy is the energy you don't need to use. So what do we want? Energy conservation? No! Exactly. And, you know, we've got a government that says it's concerned about jobs and concerned about the economy, concerned about business. Well, I'm really concerned about the solar installers, the community energy projects up and down the country who've been hit by their policy changes. I'm really concerned by the lost jobs that could be there in insulation, that could be there in renewable energy, that could be there with the wonderful tidal energy project in Swansea Bay. So what are we saying to the government? We want renewable energy jobs? No! Okay, now there's a lot of politics going on at the moment, you might have noticed. And there's one bit of politics that's coming up now that I do have to focus on for a second, and that's the EU referendum. That's going to be here in about a month's time, and I've got a simple message for you from the Green Party. If you're concerned about climate change, if you're concerned about the kind of future that Britain is, I'm saying vote to remain in the EU. Really, when you think about it, what sort of Britain do we want? Do we want Nigel Farage's Britain? I don't think so! Exactly. Now, we've got lots of economic and social problems. And often in the past we've been told, oh, we can't deal with the environmental problems, we can't deal with climate change because we've got to tackle those first. But actually we now know that that economic crisis, the way our economy is still focused on the financial sector, on the banks, still focused on services, we're not making things, growing things like we should be. We know we need to change that, and we know that renewable energy, a green economy, is part of the answer. We want a green economy? No! Okay, and what we want too is a society that works for the common good, a society where nobody goes hungry, a society where we've got genuine food security, and that means changing our agriculture, going away from factory farming, building a different kind of food supply that means nobody goes hungry. When do we want nobody to go hungry? Now! Exactly. So, we've been walking backwards, but I'm pretty sure that everybody, when they leave here, is going to be working forwards. In fact, I'd recommend it as a general principle. So, we've looked at the negatives to start off with today, but let's leave with positivity, with energy. There's some great campaigns here. I do particularly want to focus on, over there on my left, no new runway in the southeast. And I want to focus on down the front here, the Truth About Zane campaign. If you didn't hear about this at the start of the march, please do go and look it up, Truth About Zane. It's a really important issue. It's a human issue, but it's also an issue for all of us. So please, let's offer our support in the traditional way to the Truth About Zane campaign. And of course I can't see any banners at the moment, but I'm sure there's some anti-fracking banners here. So let's say yay to the anti-fracking campaigners! So the fact is, I'm entirely confident the future of politics doesn't look like the past. We got all the world's leaders in Paris signing up to 1.5 degrees and saying they're going to try and keep climate change to below 1.5 degrees. That's a club that we can use. Now I'm a Green, so I'm going to use this club in an entirely non-violent kind of manner. But let's keep saying, pointing to that 1.5 degrees and saying, you promised, you've got to deliver, you have to tackle climate change. And when are you going to have to tackle climate change? Now! Thank you, good luck everybody!
Thank you. That's nothing better. The leader of the group.
Thank you. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for being here. We may have been walking backwards down Whitehall, but they're the ones who don't know where they're going. We're the ones who want to take our country into a zero carbon future, and they're the ones who want to crack under our national park. Well, you can't. They want to tell us you can get there by cutting funding for warm homes and insulation and solar power. You cannot get to a zero carbon future doing it. They want to tell us you can build new runways and keep driving diesel buses without worrying about the toxic air pollution that's killing 40,000 and more people every year. Well, you bloody well can't. There are times when I'm happy that this government is going backwards. I was delighted when they did a U-turn and said they would accept child refugees from Europe. That was going backwards in the right direction. I was delighted when they went backwards and did a U-turn on forcing all schools to become academies. That was going backwards in the right direction. But now we need this government to start going forwards on climate change. Paris was great. The signing ceremony in New York was superb, but bits of paper do not stop greenhouse gas emissions. Policies do. We need an end to unabated coal. We need support for CCS. We need more wind turbines and solar panels. We need low carbon vehicles, ultra low emission zones. We need a government that is prepared to think further than the next election and to legislate for a zero carbon future. 10 days ago, for the first time ever in the UK, we had more energy generated by solar than by coal across the entire day. That's the future we want. And today we have 5 gigawatts, 20% of our energy being generated at this moment by solar power. That's the future that we want. Today, we turned our backs on Parliament and walked backwards down Whitehall because our government is turning its back on the people, turning its back on our future. But we will walk forward together. We will create a sustainable, zero carbon future because we know something that they have yet to understand. A sustainable future is the only chance that we have to have a future at all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. Thank you. You're fantastic.